Dallas. The Packers are 4-1. Thanks so much for joining us on Pack Attack. I'm Brandon Kinnard alongside Packers Hall of Famer Johnnie Gray. How about another round of applause for the Packers Hall of Famer? Yeah, every week, man.
How about those Packers,
yeah.
baby?
Aaron Jones is here. We will meet him in just a bit. But first, Johnny, you and I got some stuff to talk about because, man, that was a football game and a half down there in Dallas. 75 yards in 62 seconds. I guess the main question I have for you is, does anything Aaron Rodgers does surprise you at this point?
No, not at all. I mean, this is a guy, when you go to training camp, you go to practice, you guys see him in the games over the last, 9 or 10 years. He's about perfection, about going out there and executing. He's always about making sure everything's right. And in those practices and training camp and out at regular practice, when they run that 2-minute drill, they run that 3-minute offense, that 4-minute offense, it's got to be precise. They'll work on those drills time after time.
Yeah, I don't think people realize just how much everything has to go right to cover that much ground in that little time. There were so many plays on the drive. The first one to Devontae Adams was big. The play to Martellus Bennett. Aaron Jones had a long run. Rodgers had a huge scramble on third down. What's the most important part of that drive leading up to the touchdown?
The execution of the offensive line and everybody doing the things they're supposed to do. Martellus Bennett had a ball that was thrown down by his ankles. He was able to pull it up and make a great play on it. All the little things that go into winning a football game.
And getting out of bounds. Mm-hmm. Getting out of bounds big in that situation as well. Now, you throw the Bengals game in, and this is the second significant comeback this team has had this season. I did a little bit of digging, and here's your stat of the night. Their 10 regular season wins last year. The Packers trailed for a combined total of about 8.5 minutes in those 10 games. This season, in 4 wins, look how much time they've trailed for already. An hour, 24 minutes, and 31 seconds. The comeback pack, indeed. I mean, that is an incredible stat compared to last year.
Well, you've been in the locker room. You're there all summer long, and you heard guys talking about looking at the guys around the locker room saying, this is a special unit. This is a special group. As long as we work hard, stay focused, this could be a special year.
Now, there was a lot that set the stage for that comeback. The Packers' defense really struggled to get off the field early on. There were some questionable penalties I know people on Twitter were very, very upset about. 2 missed extra points. A lot of times with an exciting finish like this, these highlights sort of get lost in the shuffle. So what if they don't come back? What if we're talking about a loss right now? What would the most important storyline be looking back to that game?
Well, the scrambles of Dak Prescott. I mean, when he was able to sustain the play, move it down, it's like 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 9, and he was able to get the ball down the field. Cole Beasley, making plays in the end zone, missed tackles down the field. Yes, we'd have been talking, there have been some serious
But
business.
they did win, so let's forget all about that.
Right?
Yeah. These are all the things I had written down. I was like, we got a loss. We got to deal with this. But nope, it's all good. Let's take a peek at our injury report now, brought to you by Bone & Joint Clinic, because there are still quite a few significant injuries. Kevin King and Morgan Burnett both went down during the game. We'll monitor them throughout the week. Jordy Nelson not in there on the final drive because of an undisclosed injury. He says he should be fine. And Ty Montgomery misses the game with the broken ribs. But in his place, how about Mr. Aaron Jones? 125 yards. He had the touchdown. He had a big run on that final drive. Did he steal some future carries from Montgomery with that performance?
He may have, because this guy is a true. Look at the moves he puts in the hole. I saw him last week. He was able to do a couple double steps and stop and jump stop moves to get into the end zone. But you watch the way he runs the football here. He is a solid, bona fide running back.
Well, how about we ask it himself? How
sounds good.
Let's give a warm welcome to Aaron Jones. Come on out, man.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for being here, Aaron.
Thank you for having me.
How you doing?
Good of you?
That is about the loudest cheer we've had all season. Yeah. I guess that kind of a game will do it for you. And, man, four weeks ago, a month ago, you were the 4th-string running back, and now you're out there 125 yards at AT&T Stadium, 15-yard runs on incredible game-winning drives. I mean, how do you make that transition in a month's time?
Just going in preparing as if I'm going to play every week. Our coach always told me, be ready. You never know when your number's going to get called, when guys are going to go down, and that's what ended up happening.
But there's a difference between preparing and actually playing. So how does that happen? I mean, you've got college experience, obviously, but there's a difference between playing at UTEP and playing the Dallas Cowboys.
Definitely. It's a huge difference. You're playing at a new level, but I mean, as the game goes on, you get in a rhythm. It's kind of hard when you haven't played at all, and then you just thrown in there. You don't really get that much time to practice the plays during the week. You're on scout team service in the offense. So I didn't get any reps really last week on offense. So this week I had a full practice week of offensive reps and getting used to the play call and the rhythm and timing. So that helped a lot.
Very, very good. Now, we mentioned the long run you had on the final drive. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But speaking of that final drive in general, I mean, we watch Aaron Rodgers from a distance, and he does this. He just looks so cool under pressure. You're in that huddle with him. What's it like to be there when he's working his magic like that?
It's amazing. He keeps everybody around him calm. He came out and told us, he's like, hey, we're going to get the ball right here. We're going to go down. We're going to score, and we're going to win the game. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, when somebody of that nature is calm in a situation like that, it just makes everybody else around you calm.
Man, it's not even that easy for me on Madden. I don't know.
Me either.
In real life.
You're a heck of an athlete.
Thank you.
Going into this game, there's got a lot of concern. Man, how's he going to hold up to the pass rush, the blitz pickup? How was that adjusting to get yourself ready for that?
Oh, well, our O-line did a good job communicating with me, and so did Aaron, pointing out guys who are coming on blitzes, and just made it my job easy for me to pick up the blitzes. And they stopped pressuring after we picked up the blitzes. So,
all right.
Now, Aaron, you went to, I mentioned you went to college in El Paso. You got a lot of family in the Texas area. I mean, El Paso is what, like 9-10 hours from Dallas? So
yes, sir.
Not exactly close, but I understand you had a lot of family and friends who made the trip up to Dallas to watch that game. Did that give you a little extra motivation?
Oh, yes, sir. I feel like even though it's 9 hours away, it's still home. I had about 20 people there, so don't get the chance to play in front of that many people often. Sure. So you got to make the most of it.
Now, did they drive up there? Is that
both drove and fly?
Gotcha. All right, because that's a heck of a drive, man. I mean, you think El Paso, Dallas, they're in the same state, but that's Texas is like a country of its own.
I don't make that drive.
Well, I want to take a closer look here at the run you had on that last drive, because that was big. You not only had the 15-yarder, but you get out of bounds. That's going to be the focus of our Brickner's Breakdown here this evening. Alexis Geffen is way back there. She's going to break this one down. She has a couple questions for you.
And you took on a big workload in the run game on Sunday. Let's go through that final game-winning drive. 45 seconds left, second down. You come in clutch with a 15-yard run, and you get the Packers into field goal position. You show excellent vision in the backfield. All of the Cowboys are lined up on the line of scrimmage, a wide open lane, giving you plenty of room to run into the 32. Walk me through that play. What's going on in your mind?
Aaron called the play, and I knew it was going to be a good call just because of the way the defense was lined up. They really didn't have anybody outside of the defensive end. I know he was going to have to play contain and stay outside, so there was going to be a lane. And Geronimo Allison threw a nice block, which allowed me to get out of bounds.
Yeah, speaking of getting out of bounds, so you break all those tackles and you manage to get out of bounds. Is that an instinct for you to do?
It's something you're taught growing up playing the game as a little kid. It's part of the fundamentals. When it gets down to that time, you got to get out of bounds to save time.
All right, thanks, Aaron. That's your Brickner's Breakdown. Back to you, Brandon.
One of those things, again, that's easier said than done, but everything went right on that 2-minute drive. It was a pleasure to watch. We're going to have a little more fun when we return from our break here. Aaron Rodgers is now 4-0 all-time at the new Cowboy Stadium, AT&T Stadium. The internet is starting to notice. I'll show you a viral clip here coming up next on Pack Attack.